Hi everybody, and welcome to Behind Every Palm Tree is a Vacation. For those of us who live in the northern states, we always consider anything with a palm tree a vacation. So it sure would be great to be there right now. So anyway, just a couple of things before we get started. And this is our layout. We're going to actually do 2 pages. And that has all the bells and whistles. And then there's pages 3, 4, 5, and 6 that are always designed as extra kits for you to take, extra pages for you to take home and do at home. So here we have Behind Every Palm Tree is a Vacation. Lots of fun pieces on here. And then I'm going to show you how to braid a palm tree trunk here in just a minute. But first of all, I need to tell you that we had a slight issue with this kit. And that being said, you probably most of you ended up with 2 extra die cuts that are not needed because we had two of them switched out. So what I'm going to show you in the beginning is what they look like. So when you do find these pieces that are extra, you'll know why. So here we have, and these are I haven't punched mine out yet, but these are little like photo mats. This one has knots on it, nautical knots, and this is the proper one. This is the right one that you need for your kit. This one is the one that got put in by mistake. Exactly the same size, but it's not the one that we needed. Keep this, put it away, get it clear out of the way. But if you've already punched out pieces, that's okay. Just make sure that when you get to some of these pieces, you know that they are extra and you can use them on a totally different project. So again, this is also a photo mat, but it's not the right paper. Set those 2 aside. And then one more, and it's a big piece. This is a whole entire sheet of die cuts. It's got little banner pieces, it's got squares, and it's got strips. Okay, this one is the right one, the light turquoise color. This one with all the teal knots is the wrong one. The laser person just got them switched out. So you have more pieces than you need. So when you get to that point, just know that we don't need everything that you have in your kit. Save those for something else. First of all, we're going to use, in your kit, you have 2 frames, looks like this. And some of you may have thought they're a scrap, so be sure and save them. It said right at the top of the instructions, if you started to read your instructions, be sure and save the 12 by 12 frames because we will use them. This is the basics, the background for pages 1 and page 2. And then you're going to make your background by adding this piece of paper. It has nautical knots on the back, and it's 11 by 11, I believe. And if you want to chalk up these edges before you get it glued down, feel free to do that. Baja blue is a great color for this one. And sometimes if you are doing a big paper like this, I like to pull it to the edge of my workspace. I'm not sure if you can see this or not, but pull it to the edge of the workspace and just quickly add some color to your edges. It helps to give it some support while you're giving. You can pick it up and do it this way if you want to, but it's nice to pull it to the edge of your workspace. Gives it some support while you're adding some color. So if you choose to, Baja blue is a good color. Some of the other suggestions that we have on our sheet is Rocky Road. That's a nice brown vintage color. Baja blue, what we just used. Another good color would be Bora Bora, or I think Moana would be a good color. And then on the sheet it suggests Bermuda. That's always a good color for these. It matches this blue paper perfectly. Let's see if I have one of those. It looks like this. Okay, let's try it on the edge so you can see what it looks like. See, it's just a gorgeous light turquoise color. So any of those colors will be perfect. And then once you get them chalked up a little bit, you will add them to your frame, add some adhesive, and I'm just going to put on a little bit. just to hold it in place because mine is just a sample. And this is for page 1 and page 2, exactly the same until you get to here. Okay, and same for page 2. So you should have 5 pre-cut photo mats. And if you look at page 1 and page 2, and I'm going to show you those again. Page 1, turquoise photo mat in the background here. Page 2, 3 turquoise photo mats in the background. So you need a total of 5 turquoise photo mats. Look like this. And then we're going to need some of these pieces that I showed you that we had to add to your kit to make the proper ones. And this looks like this. There are 3 of them that have nautical knots. So go ahead and punch those out. And these are 3.5 by 5.5. So we have 3 of them that are cut for us. And then in your kit you have several cutting diagrams. Actually you have 4. We're going to keep it really simple for page 1 because we usually keep the cutting to a minimum on pages 1 and 2 so we can get more done. But this one, if you will locate this piece of paper, looks like this. It has a folding diagram on one side for your tree trunk, and then on the other side it has 2 cutting diagrams out of the nautical knot paper. Okay, the one you're going to use is the one on the left. At the top it has 3.5 by 3.5 square, 3 of those across the top. On the left it has a 5 by 7, and the 2 pieces that we need are 3.5 by 5.5, so you end up with 2 more pieces like this. Okay, so get out your cutting diagram. Looks like this, okay? Get out your trimmer. And follow this cutting diagram, and remember that you normally in the classroom, if you cut it wrong, I can hand you another piece, but I can't right now. So be really careful when you look at this diagram, making sure that you have the cuts exactly how you want them. And what I would do is start by cutting the 3.5 by 3.5 strip from the top of the sheet, and then cut out your 3.5 by 3.5 squares. Those we do not need right now, so stack those up and set them aside, okay? So let's just cut off a 3.5 strip, and that'll get us started. Cut it half in a 3.5 strip, so I have a 3.5 inch wide by 12 inch strip, and then you're going to cut 3 pieces so that you have 3.5 by 3.5 squares 3 times. And a little scrap. We'll throw that one away. So again, 3.5 squares, set these aside. We don't need those until pages 4, 5, and 6. Okay, then the next piece, I'll turn it this way. And if you look at your diagram, you have a 5 by 7. And I would cut that next. Turn it so it looks like this. So it's horizontal. Move it to the 5 inch mark on your trimmer and cut it 5 inches wide. Okay? And then turn it and go ahead and cut your 7 inches. This piece we do not need either right now, so set it aside with the 3.5 inch squares. Okay, now we do have left just this piece of paper, and this is the 2 pieces that we need. We're going to cut 2 pieces that are 3.5 by 5.5. So I'm just going to start by, and it really doesn't matter which way these knots go, so that's entirely up to you. I'm going to cut 3.5 to start with on both pieces, and that makes them 3.5 wide, and then 5.5 long. 2 pieces, 5.5 long. And these little scraps we can get rid of. Okay, so now we have 5 pieces that are 3.5 by 5.5, and that will make one photo mat for every turquoise paper. So let's go ahead and do all 5 of those, get them out of the way. That means you will end up with 2 photo mats for page 1, and you'll end up with 3 photo mats for page 2. So let's go ahead and put some adhesive on those, adding them to your 4x6 turquoise piece. Chalk up those edges before you glue them together if you want to chalk edges. Again, on the teal dot, or the teal knot, the nautical knot, that Baja Blue would be great, or Bora Bora would be really good. On the turquoise piece, that would be nice to add some Bermuda. Real similar in color, but it just adds that nice little shaded bit to your outside edges of your, and sometimes it's nice to do the corners of just a little bit more. And that's all it takes. For those of you who have never used our powder puff chalking before, see how easy that is. And you can do that on all 5 pieces. So go ahead and glue all 5 pieces together. That means one teal knot onto one turquoise background. So I'm not going to chalk all of mine. Mine are just samples. So go ahead and do some chalking. If you need to stop the video, you can do that. And number 5. So once you get that done, you do have as an embellishment across the bottom of the 2 pieces that go on page 1, a little kind of a peachy pink wave. And those are really cute, but you know, I would wait to add those after you get your picture on. If you do decide to put them on right now, just a tiny spot of adhesive on each end, then you can pop them up, or else you can slide your picture in behind. So once you get 2 done, they go on page 1, just about right here. I'm going to add these down right quick. And a little adhesive on the back of each one. It goes close to the bottom, close to the right of your blue 11 by 11 background paper. And the next one goes just right above that. Okay, I'm going to set this aside for just a little bit. And get a piece of let's see if I have a darker paper. So now I'm going to show you how to make this cool palm tree trunk. And it's kind of a fun little braided thing, and it just, once you get started on it, it's super easy. But getting yourself started, it helps to just watch for just a second. I like to take, it's not necessary, but it's really helpful to take a piece of paper, a 12 by 12 paper, lay it down in front of you, and then you have two palm tree trunks, a bigger one, and you have all these strips of brown paper. Now, if you see the piece of paper strip that has a hole in it, that's trash. That's only so that you know that one is not used. Just go ahead and throw that away. And then you have some 3/8 inch strips, and that's for the big tree. And we're going to just do that one for the moment and show you how to do it. The other one is exactly the same. So set your little ones aside, and now you should have 4 brown pieces, and I'm going to turn 2 of those over. And I'm going to put just a tiny bit of adhesive up here in the corner. And you can start with either side, but you're going to do the first 2 are exactly the same side of paper. So to start with, I'm going to just layer it, line it right up with the edge of my background paper, stick it down into that adhesive, okay? And then the next one, I'm putting just a tiny bit of adhesive again, just a little bit. And then I'm going to do another pink side and line it up along horizontally across the top, right along the edge of that paper. If you do it using a paper as a template, it helps to keep your everything square as you go along. Okay, so now I'm going to add another strip, and this time I'm going to use the brown side, and it will go flush to the top of your page, overlapping this horizontal piece, and also bumped right up against the edge of that very first piece you put on. Okay, so it should look like this right now. And then I'm going to add another brown one, add a little bit of adhesive there, and this brown piece will be flush to the right hand side and bumped right up against that pink horizontal piece. Okay, so it should look like this right now. Now, to get started, you're going to take this top piece, the one with the pink, and you fold it at a 45-degree angle. I think that's 45, I hope I'm right. 45-degree angle, crease it so it looks like that, and then this comes down here, okay? Then you're going to take the other pink piece, fold it in the opposite direction at a 45-degree angle, okay? And now it should look like this. You go back again to the top left, to the horizontal brown piece, fold it down so that you have another 45-degree angle, and it's right next to, it'll end up being on the pink side, right next to 2 brown pieces. Go back next, take the outer brown piece that's vertical, 45-degree angle, and you want it to end up right next to a horizontal brown strip. So it should look like this right now. And then you just go back and repeat the whole process until you're done with this entire tree trunk. So again, pull it down so that you're going right along the edge of your vertical paper. Take your outside brown piece, 45-degree angle, and it should look like this. See how that's starting to look? It's got a little bit of a braid going on, and then you start again at the top. Pull that one over, 45-degree angle, and start at the, pull the bright one up, 45-degree angle. Okay, and see it's starting to change color again. at the top, 45-degree angle. On the right hand side, 45-degree angle. So see how that just goes back and forth and back and forth, and you'll keep doing this all the way down, 45-degree angle. Start at the top and go to the right hand side. Go back to the top. And back to the right hand side. So back and forth, all the way down until you have it completely braided. And you have made yourself a funky palm tree trunk. So much more fun than just adding just a regular little strip of paper to make a palm tree trunk. And you know what? This is fun to make like a bookmark. And you can add it to little cards, do tiny little pieces and add it to cards. Now this one is the bigger one, so your other strips are going to be even tinier, so a little bit harder to do, but not really, not bad at all. So just keep going until you get to the very end. And then once you get to the end, it will look like, just about done. We'll see what the end looks like here. Depending on which side you started with, your roots, which kind of, and so you can leave it like this if you want to. Pull it up off the paper. You can leave it like this if you want to, or you can go one more time, folding pieces over. And then you have little roots at the bottom. Now this right here is kind of fun to add one little bit of, let me open this up. This one is amaretto. Mocha Mama, any of the browns, and just kind of add some fun color to these edges. See how that just fills in all those little cracks along the edges, and then once you get the edges the color that you want them, it's kind of fun to go back and just gently smooth over the top. See how it grabs the color into those little crevices of that paper, and it makes it look like the little crosshatch of an actual palm tree. So see how much fun that was and how simple? So that's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to do the little one. The little one is exactly the same thing, so you can stop the video and you can make the second one. I'm going to show you where this ends up onto our background. Okay, so just about right here, okay? So those little pieces that you can see sticking down there are kind of fun to, you can cut them off if you want. If you want to take your scissors and trim them off, even you can. You can go one more step with a fold if you choose to. Totally up to you. It kind of just looks like little roots sticking down there out of the palm tree. So this one, it would go at just a bit of an angle. Okay, here's the finished one. See, just a bit of an angle, because you know palm trees don't grow usually straight. They have some kind of angle, or they're leaning. And then the second one, the littler one, can go on at a little bit of different angle. And then you have your palm tree fronds that go on. And so you do kind of want to judge it so that your palm tree isn't hanging off the side. I mean, you could trim it off just a little bit. It wouldn't make any difference to fit your page, but that's something to keep in mind too. So you have 2 palm trees and 2 palm tree trunks. Fun, simple. And then we're going to add little tiny anchor. I'm going to move this out of the way so you can see better. Little tiny anchor, and there's two pieces. Here's the background, here's the front ground. And what I like to do is, I'm just going to barely put these together because again, it's just a sample. But instead of trying to chalk up both edges, the edge of this and then the edge of this, if you put them together, you can see there's little holes that need to be matched up because you're going to add some brads. Some little blue brads. But I would, because this gives it a little bit more support, if you glue them together to begin with and then add your color, you're going to grab both edges all at the same time. And I don't worry too much about trying to get in all these little cracks. Sometimes it helps though if you gently bend it, okay? And if you decide you want to get in there, gently bend it. But when it gets really difficult to get into those little cracks, sometimes I don't even do it just because, see, it causes kind of a mess on your paper. And when you get that, sometimes it just helps just to gently blend it out. So anyway, that's your little you have a piece of like, looks like cord you would see on a cruise ship, and you're going to cut this into one 12-inch piece. So I'm just going to measure across the bottom of my 12-inch paper, cut it off, and then you save the 20-inch piece, the longer piece, for the next page and the next anchor. But I like to take a glue dot, add the glue dot to the back of your anchor up here. And this stuff unravels really easy. So I would even, you might want to put that glue dot right onto the end of your rope, keep it from raveling. But start up here and just kind of wind it around your piece so it looks like it's actually hooked onto an anchor. And then a few more glue dots. Okay, you start winding here and around here. Make a little circle and a loop like somebody just threw it up on the shore and it landed that way. But you can make it cooperate, do it however you want. And then the only other things for this page, you have 3 little tiny tags, and one is super tiny, very, very tiny. And it would be good to go ahead and chalk these up just a little bit. Okay, and I'm using the Bermuda on these. You could use, oh gosh, there's a whole bunch of colors in this that you could use. If you're using the browns, the amaretto would look really good on this. Rocky Road would look good. Terracotta, if you have terracotta, that would look really good. So anyway, we chalked up 3 little and I'm looking for the little pieces that go on it. So you have in your kit, in your chipboard, white chipboard, behind every, and behind goes on the big, okay, the behind goes on the big, every goes on the medium one. Then way over here at the right hand side it said is a. And then once you get your you have lots of letters. It says vacation in pink, and then you also have some chipboard letters, and that goes in the background. And what I like to do when I have chipboard letters, or I have even paper letters, I want to change it up just a little bit. Instead of having the white, you can hold it up and chalk edges like this if you want to, because really all you're going to see is the edges. But if you have pieces like I don't know what happened to my little chipboard pieces. But if you have little tiny pieces like that says behind every and is a, you could take this and just press color into it like this. Look how pretty that is. And if you just wanted to use this all by itself, you totally could. You wouldn't even have to add the paper vacation on. But there's your V. You can just keep adding color as you choose. The more color you add, it takes a little longer to dry. These inks typically do dry fairly quick, but the more you add, the longer it takes to dry. So once you get the V, and the same with the palm tree, you can just press color into it. Add your pink V over the front, and look how cool that looks. And I would use a glue pen to add that V. And also, if it doesn't stick right away, it's because your V needs to, your chipboard color needs to dry just a little bit. But generally I use a glue pen to do that. And once you get the palm tree part all glued together behind every onto your tags, and your tags you also have a piece of raffia. It looks like this. You know, something else really fun to do with raffia, if you want to change the color of it, I kind of like this natural color, but say you wanted to add blue raffia to your, you just start about in the center. Just lay your, I'm using Bermuda, lay your color right onto it, drag it out from underneath, turn it over, same thing on the other side. So it's kind of fun to chalk up ribbon too, so that's something to keep in mind if you want to change that color up just a little bit. The only other thing after that is your two little tiny anchors. You have a bunch of little tiny anchors, and these are probably not the very smallest ones, but pretty close. And then page 1 is done. So let's take a look at page 2 right quick. And we've done most of the bells and whistles for page 1. But let's look at page 2 and so that little palm tree trunk will take you a little bit of time, but it's not bad. So the word vacation, the same thing. You have a chipboard background for that vacation. And then if you want to change the color of that, instead of white, lay it out flat, pat some color into it, or hold it up and chalk the edges. Your remaining 3 photo mats that we made earlier. And you have a strip of paper that says, once your feet have touched the warm sun-drenched sand by the sea, you will never ever be the same. So you want to trim the white off of that and make sure that it's 12 inches long, or glue it down and then you can trim the ends off. And then you have a pink paper that looks like this, and this would be fun to chalk the edges of this too. Again, pull it to the edge of your workspace and run your ink along the edge. Easier than just trying to hold it up because it gives it more stability. And then on top of that pink piece, you have a strip of blue that goes right on top of the pink, and that's what you see right here. So you have pink in the background, pink strip in the background, teal turquoise strip, and your piece that says, once your feet have touched the warm sun-drenched sand by the sea, you will never be the same. Your anchor on page 2 is exactly the same as the anchor on page 1. It's just a bigger one, and you have a little bit more of the rope left so that you can wind it around. You have also a brown photo mat that goes on page 2. And it is 5 by 7, looks like this. 5x7 brown photo mat, as you can see in the background here, goes here. And then you have a piece that is 4.5 by 6.5, has anchors and starfish on it. That goes onto your brown photo mat. That tucks in, that would go on very first thing before you add any of your 3 photo mats, any of your vacation, any of your anchor. So this is the first thing that you add to page 2. The next 2 things that you might want to add, the next things you might want to add is your pink strip of paper, and keep in mind that it is a pocket right here, so you want to keep that open, okay? Keep that open so that you can tuck your photo mats down inside. Your turquoise strip of paper, your brown strip that says once your feet have touched the warm sunshine sand. And then you can, the last thing you want to add is your anchor and your word vacation at the top. And then you have completed page 1 and page 2 that says behind every palm tree is a vacation. And that's what we think here in Washington, because that would be the ultimate vacation for us, to be where there are palm trees. Now keep in mind that you want to hang on to, we cut up one photo mat, or used one cutting diagram already, okay? So you can get rid of that. Those pieces were set aside. We used a couple of them. There's one more cutting diagram out of the teal paper, the teal knot paper. Okay, go ahead and do that. And then you have another cutting diagram that is out of the light turquoise color on this sheet. And then you have a cutting diagram for the full sheet of anchor starfish paper. So be sure and hang on to all these pieces. They go on to pages 3 and 4. And let me look at 3 and 4 and take a look at these. So 3 is the one that says relax, enjoy. And most of these pieces will come right out of a die cut, or they will be part of your cutting diagram. This 8x8 is a part of the cutting diagram. This is a part of the cutting diagram. This piece in the background here is a part of the cutting diagram. Most everything else will come out of your laser die cuts. So relax, enjoy, that's pages 3 and 4. Then your last pages have 4 little photo mats here, 3 little photo mats here, and then lots in the middle. So you have tons of space for pictures, lots of space for pictures. So this pretty much concludes the Behind Every Palm Tree class. And so if you have any questions, feel free to email me at patsy@shopquickquotes.com. If you need any help with anything, I would be glad to help you. So have fun finishing out the rest of the pages, and we'll see you at the next class if you're signed up.